So you bust your tail for every paycheck. You save every dime. You skip the vacations, and when it's finally time for you to sign those papers, you go with the name you were taught to trust before you could even drive. A bow tie that's supposed to stand for American grit and high mileage muscle. You buy a Chevrolet. But what happens when that pride and joy starts rattling before the first oil change? What happens when that brand you've backed for 3 generations gives you the corporate cold shoulder on a design flaw that leaves you stranded? Look, I'm not here to tell you every single truck is a lemon. I know guys out there putting 200,000 miles on these things without a hiccup. But there's a pattern here, a forensic trail of failure that goes way past normal wear and tear. We're talking about actual paper trails, internal TSBs, and federal recalls that GM hopes would stay buried in that service bay. Today, we're doing a deep dive, kind of an autopsy. We're counting down the 5 most catastrophic reasons your new Silverado might just be an $80,000 paperweight. We're going back to the history of the small block to show you exactly where the accountants killed the engineers. Let's get into the records.
Okay, so before we get to this list, we need to review the pinnacle of performance. For 50 years, the small block V8 was the heartbeat of this country. I'm talking about the 5.7 liter 350. It was simple. It was honest. If something broke, you fixed it with a 9/16, half-inch, and 7/16 wrench, and maybe a few screwdrivers. Then came the original 5.3 liter Vortec. That engine was a beast amongst machines. Iron block, push rod simplicity, and a valve train that didn't know how to quit. That was the era when Chevrolet actually cared about the guy who kept his truck for 20 years. But then the boardroom took over. They wanted miles per gallon numbers to satisfy a spreadsheet, and they sacrificed your engine's longevity to get it. They traded built for life for built for the lease. And that brings us to the first sign of dereliction of duty. You know that sleek little shark fin looking antenna on your roof? It's the brain to your GPS, OnStar, and satellite radio. But on the 2019 through 2022 models, the gasket sealing that little bastard to the metal is total junk. GM knew it too. They even put out TSB PIP 5623 to try and coach dealers through the mess because they were getting slammed with OnStar failure complaints and red indicator lights. When that seal finally gives up, gravity takes over. It doesn't just stain your headliner. It drips straight down the A-pillar and pours into your fuse block and your body control module. Suddenly your dash lights up like a Christmas tree, your battery dies overnight, your windows roll down on their own, and because it's water damage, your local dealer is going to try every trick in the book to deny that warranty claim. A simple rainstorm should not be a source of anxiety when you're making a $1,000 a month truck payment. Okay, so at number 4, we have a problem you'll be feeling in the seat of your pants. The 10-speed transmission shutter. This unit was co-developed with Ford, which I mentioned the other day in the F-150 video, the 10L80. It was supposed to be the benchmark of smoothness. For a lot of guys, it is, but for the unlucky ones, it feels like you're driving over rumble strips every time you hit light acceleration between 25 and 80 miles per hour. So GM finally admitted the fluid was basically pre-contaminated with moisture from the factory in TSB 18-NA-355. Their fix was a high-pressure flush and some new Mobil 1 synthetic LV fluid. For some it works. For others, the shutter comes back kind of like a bad penny because the internal torque converter clutches are already glazed. When you're pulling a trailer and your $10,000 transmission starts acting like a bucking bronco, efficiency is a joke. This is the corporate cold shoulder in action. They knew the fluid was wrong in 2018. yet they kept shipping trucks with it for years. Alright folks, we're down to number 3 here, and this one is a safety failure that is, quite frankly, terrifying. The phantom braking. Imagine cruising at highway speeds, your family is asleep, and your truck suddenly slams on the anchor for no damn reason at all. This isn't a ghost, it's a software glitch in the forward collision system. It triggered a massive recall from 2022 to 2023 models because the sensors were hallucinating obstacles that didn't exist. But this braking disaster goes much deeper, because of course it does. GM had to recall over 600,000 trucks and SUVs for a wheel speed sensor that could fail and trick the stability control into thinking a wheel was slipping. The computer's response? Apply the brake on the opposite wheel, pulling your vehicle towards the ditch or into oncoming traffic. Flip a coin, I guess. GM's interim fix for some of these was to literally tell owners not to use four-wheel drive until they could get to a dealership. Think about that. You paid for a 4x4 truck, and the manufacturer tells you to disable the feature you bought because their software might try to kill you. That's the definition of an expensive paperweight. Okay, so our runner-up is the sound that keeps V8 owners awake at night, the Chevy tick. If you hear a rhythmic tapping from that 5.3 liter or 6.2 liter, you aren't just hearing engine noise, you're hearing a mechanical suicide pact. The Dynamic Fuel Management DFM system shuts down cylinders to save a thimble of gas, and I mean a thimble literally. But it puts a massive uneven strain on the valve train. But as of 2026, the 6.2 liter L87 owners have an even bigger problem. Under recall N25249400, over 800,000 vehicles are being flagged for catastrophic crankshaft and connecting rod failures. We're talking about engines seizing at highway speeds because of manufacturing debris left in the oil galleries. So what's GM's fix for this crankshaft crisis? They're changing the oil specs from 0W20 to a thicker 0W40 synthetic. They're literally trying to use thicker oil to hide the fact that the internal tolerances were manufactured outside of engineering specs. If you hear a knock or a tick, your clock is at 0. Alright, finally, drum roll please. The number one reason Chevy loyalists are feeling backstabbed. This isn't just a defect, it's a decade-long cover-up. GM sold millions of these trucks knowing the lifter pins were failing. They fought the lawsuits, they denied the claims, and they made customers pay for $5,000 repairs the second they went over 60,000 miles. But here's the smoking gun. The 2026 VIN data has officially hit the production floors. If you look at the 8th digit in the VIN on the new 2026 Silverado, keep an eye out for code E. Why does that matter? Because code E represents the new redesigned EcoTech 3 V8, where GM has officially and quietly removed the DFM hardware. After 10 years of telling you the system was, quote, reliable, they finally performed the surgery. No press release, no apology to the guys who got stuck with the bill, just a silent admission, written in the production code, that the system was a failure. They fixed it for the new buyers, but they've left a generation of loyalists holding their breath, just waiting for that tick to start. This is the ultimate betrayal. They knew the design was no good. They let you pay for the R&D with your own wallet. Then they walked away from the mess.
So there you have it. From leaky antennas to self-destructing engines. These aren't isolated fluke accidents. They are a pattern of forensic failure. You spend your hard-earned money for peace of mind. You're a man. You buy a truck because it's supposed to be the one thing in your life that doesn't let you down. But until GM addresses the millions of trucks still on the road with those known flaws, the generation of defect, that shiny new Silverado is a gamble. I want to hear from the community. Drop a comment below. Tell me your model your mileage, and if you've heard the tick yet. Did the dealer give you the cold shoulder? Let's build the archives together. I'm the highwayman. Always do your research, keep it between the lines, and I'll see you at the next exit.